Coming off 2 straight weeks of tournaments loaded with top-end talent, the PGA Tour returns to Texas for the AT&T. Unfortunately for those in PGA DFS contests, a strong field won't be making the trip to Trinity Forest, with Jordan Spieth, Hideki Matsuyama and Matt Kuchar making up the class of the field. The middle and bottom end of the field this week is especially weak, so looking for value picks is going to be pretty tough on DraftKings. Trinity Forest is an American Links-style course. Off the tee, the fairways are wide and will play firm and fast. Although there have been reports of tournament organizers heavily watering the fairways, the conditions should still play faster than we typically see. With zero course history to lean on here, I'm going to be looking at pure ball striking as by far the most important stat of the week. Players who have seen the course say that it plays as a traditional links course off the tee, but it will require you to fly the ball to the green rather than play it on the ground like you can over in the UK. I'm imagining something like a shorter, less hilly version of US Open venue Erin Hills, or an American version of Open Championship venue Royal Birkdale. From an initial overview of the course, the par 5s should play fairly difficult and not concede many eagle opportunities. This leads me to weighing par 4 scoring more than usual this week. With so many unknowns, keeping it extremely simple and targeting birdie makers for pure DFS scoring purposes also makes a ton of sense. If the wind blows like it tends to do in Texas, then we could see some carnage out there, and this is absolutely a week to check the weather forecast before lock 2. See if there is a tee time advantage. More DFS lineup builder strategy. There's plenty of strategy that goes into putting together a winning DFS lineup, and the best place to start is Rotochill's DFS tools. Our Rotok PGA Lineup Optimizer offers a massive advantage when you're building lineups, regardless of contest size or site. I'm always there to help, too, so check me out on Twitter, @TifsBenched, for even more NFL, NBA, MLB and PGA daily fantasy content. Key stats: ball striking, strokes gained, approach birdie or better, percentage, par 4 scoring at. He is a member here at Trinity Forest and will likely be one of the few players extremely familiar with the layout. If that wasn't enough, he won last year's Open Championship at Royal Birkdale, which Spieth himself says shares a lot of similarities to Trinity Forest. He will likely be extremely popular but will be hard to fade despite his high price, forcing you to play a few value plays that are certainly to give you heartburn at lineup. Lock: Adam Scott, DK, $9,200, FD, $11,800. Scott made a switch in his putter last week at the Players and instantly saw his putting numbers jump up to an average clip. Scott has struggled a bit with his driver this season, but he may be able to club down to 3 wood or irons off the tee if the conditions do in fact play firm and fast. I've targeted Scott for the last few weeks with up and down results, but the putter change, elite long-term ball striking, and an incredibly weak field make Scott one of the top overall plays this week. Mid-tier targets: Bo Hossler, DK, $9,000, FD, $9,500. Hossler almost got his first career win earlier this season in Texas at the Houston Open and is one of the top plays this week, despite his inflated price tag across the industry. Hossler is a member here at Trinity Forest and actually does the majority of his practicing right here at this course, so he will be more familiar with the layout than almost anyone in field besides fellow member Spieth. Martin Laird, DK, $7,900, FD, $10,000. Pretty much any player under $8,000 on DraftKings is going to be a risky proposition this week, but Laird is one of the few guys who has upside at a course that should fit his game. Laird has been playing solid golf recently, including a T11 at TPC San Antonio, a course that has a somewhat similar layout to Trinity Forest. Laird is a high ball hitter and also has plenty of experience on links layouts, being from Scotland. More DFS, lineup builder, strategy value targets Kevin Na, DK, $7,200, FD, $9,000. The value tier is a complete wasteland this week, but DraftKings threw us a bone and priced Na way down at $7,200. He isn't in the best form, but he did have a respectable week last time out at the Players with a T46 finish. Na has some decent history playing in Texas and will relish playing on a course that requires some strategy tee to green. Na projects to be one of the highest-owned players in the field, so a fade in tournaments isn't a terrible idea, but he is one of the top cash game plays on the slate, especially if you're looking for some salary relief in a lineup with Spieth, Hunter Mahan, DK, $6,900, FD, $8,100. Mahan is another member of Trinity Forest who will be very familiar with the layout this week. It's also encouraging to see him make 3 consecutive cuts after struggling mightily for the better part of the past 3 years. We have seen Mahan flash upside in the past, and a trip to a familiar layout in his home state is the perfect place for him to pop in this week field event.